Hey there, I'm your host Zoe, and this is part 7 of our equipment system series. In today's video, we'll be creating the stats system to show on our equipment screen. And with that said, let's begin. We'll start by going into our content drawer, and let's open up our wardrobe component. Now in here, we want to create a new function for calculating our attributes and the weapon damage and all that good stuff. So we'll call it calculate stats. So it's going to calculate everything for us. Now in here, what we'll do is we want to get that equipment list and we want to do a keys function or keys node. So what this does is this gets us that category in this list. Then we'll do a for each loop. And we want to find this category, so we'll do a find node. So if it finds it, we then get that key for that category, which in this case is our item ID, and we'll do a get data table row. We'll add our data table there. We can break this open, and let's add a sequence into here as well. Now I'm doing this to stay organized, and in here you can hide everything because we only want the attributes. I'll duplicate this, plug it in there, and in this one I'll do weapon damage. So I have 2 instances just to keep stuff organized, because this will get messy in a bit. So we want to break this open, and in here we want to add these values and store them somewhere. So we'll be storing them in this component. So what we'll do is I'll promote this to a variable, and let's call it our attributes. That's fine, perfectly fine. So we'll grab this, we'll do let's do a set, and attribute defense we'll do add. We then want to actually get this as well, and we'll do a break. So we're going to be adding them to each other. So strength or defense plus defense, right? We'll make this open. So make s underscore attributes, and this value goes here. So same for the strength, we'll add a plus in here, drag that there, and the result goes into here. And this gets set then. So drag that there like so. That's one part done. Now for our weapon damage, we do the exact same thing. So let's promote this to a variable called weapon damage, like so. And let's do a reroute here. So you can do or to reroute your nodes, plug it in there. And something like this should do, I think. Okay. So once again, we want to get this guy, do a break, and we'll be adding this to our weapon damage. So break this open as well. And melee damage plus melee damage makes melee damage. The result goes there. Same for the range damage, the exact same thing. So this part then is done for us. That's very nice. Let's compile and save. Now we want to go ahead and create another function for set weapon damage. In here then, we'll grab our weapon damage, we'll break it open, and we'll grab our attributes and break it open as well. And what we want to do here is we don't actually want the defense variable, so we can get rid of it and just have the strength. So for both of our damages, what we'll do is we'll do a plus, and we'll do a plus for the range damage as well. And we're going to add them to whatever this is divided by. So like you've seen before at the very beginning, we had 5 strength, and that 5 strength gave us 1 bonus to the damage. So that's the multiplier which it is divided by. So our strength will be divided by 5. Now this is up to you. You can divide it by 2, by 3, whatever you like. I'll divide it by 5. And then this value will be added to both the ranged and the melee. And you of course can do a second one if you want your ranged weapon to do more damage, you of course can. This value then, we want to promote it to a variable, calling it bonus damage. Like so. Next, we'll grab our weapon damage and do a set. And out of here, we'll do a make. And this will go into here, and this will go into here, just like that. So that's our set weapon damage. Let's compile, and let's go ahead and create our set armor class. So the same thing here applies. We'll grab our attributes. Now we only want to grab the defense this time. So let's get rid of strength. And this once again can be divided by whatever value you like. I'll divide it by 5 as well to keep everything consistent. And we'll promote this to a variable armor class, just like so. Okay. With that then, we'll compile and save. We want to head back into our calculate stats, and on completed, what we'll do is we'll set the weapon damage. We'll set the armor class, like so. And at the very end, we want an event dispatcher to know when everything has been calculated, when everything has finished. So we'll add an event dispatcher and we'll do on stats changed. And we'll drag it in here, just a call like so. Compile and save. Next, let's go ahead and create a widget to display these stats in. So we'll open up our contents drawer, create a new user interface, and let's call this WB_character sheet. And let's open this up. In here, we want to add a border like so, making sure the padding is set to 0. And for the brush color, we'll set this to be 0 on the opacity. So essentially like a border. Next, let's add a vertical box. We'll be dividing this into sections. And let's add 2 horizontal boxes into here. So copy that, paste. Select both boxes, do a fill, and the top box will be for our buttons. So we'll do 0.05 for the fill. Let's give it a name, box_buttons. And same with this one here, box_attributes. Perfect. So with the buttons, grab ourselves a few buttons in here. We'll do one there. And we want some text. Now with this button, we'll name it button_attributes. Attributes. And for the text, we'll do, it doesn't really matter since we won't be changing it. So I guess I'll leave it there. But for the text here, we'll do attributes like so. Let's select both of these or just the button and paste it into here. And with this text, we can do abilities. And for the button itself, we can give it a name of abilities as well. Select both buttons, give them a, select both buttons and give them a padding. Let's fill them first and then do a padding of 5, let's say. And for the background color, I have a few colors saved in here now. We'll do this color there. And yeah, that's fine. Then for our box here, what we want to do is we want to grab ourselves a border, and this will serve as that frame for us. So brush color, darkest one there. That's the hex color if you're interested. And we'll do another border in here into this one. We'll do a padding of 10. We'll grab our gradient 2. There we are. For the brush color, we'll do the lightest one there. And it's already looking nice. Now grab your border, this one here, and do a wrap with widget switcher. There we are. We would then want to copy this border and paste another one in here. So this border will be for our attributes. And the second one will be for our abilities. So border_abilities. And that's that. So in our first border here, grab yourselves a vertical box, drag it in, and we'll make it go in the middle with a padding of 0. Oh, I mean, we could do like padding of 10, let's say. And then grab a text, drag it in there. We'll copy it 3 times, once for the header, which will be our player attributes. And we'll make it in the middle And for those two, we can make it in the middle as well with a smaller size of, let's say 20. And let's make it regular. We can give them a padding of, let's say 5 maybe. With this one, we want this to be editable for both. And this one we'll call txt_strength. This one we'll call txt_defense. And for the actual text, just to make it pretty, let's say defense :15. And here we'll do, let's say strength :10. And this will give us a better idea of what this will look like. Okay, so that's that. Let's compile and save. And if we head into the graph, we want to grab our buttons. So attributes, or on clicked rather, and then on abilities. And we want that widget switcher here. And we'll do set active widget index. Our attributes border will be the first index, so 0. And then this will be our index 1. And this will change between the first border and the second border. So if we were to click on this, this disappears. So that's all it'll do. Okay, compile and save. And let's head back in here. We then want to create a new function called set attributes. In here, we'll get our player character. We'll do get component by class. So bpc_wardrobe. And we want to do is valid. Always good to check. And then we'll do from here, we'll get our attributes value. We can break it open. So even split will do. And we want to set that text. So we have text defense, set text. And this will convert it for us. So that's 1 down. And we have text strength. Copy that, plug it in there. And this will do for the other one. So drag this into here, and there we are. Okay, so let's compile and save this then. Next, let's go ahead and open up our wardrobe widget. So let's go into here, open it up. And in here, we want to set those stats. So we'll create a function for this. We'll do set all stats. The first stat that we are setting is our character sheet attributes. So first of all, in the designer, we need to add this here. So select the box, search for your character sheet, drag it in, and do fill. So now we have that reference there. These might be a bit big for the text. So let's just open this up and change this padding to like 14 maybe. Compile and save. Let's go back in here. That should be better. We'll play around with it if it's not. Okay. So with that, into the graph, we should go and set all stats, get your character sheet, and we'll do set attributes, calling that function we just made. Then inside here, we want to create our own functions. So click the plus and we'll do set weapon damage. And with this guy, we'll do the same thing. We'll get our hero or player character, same thing. And we'll do get component by class. And once again, is valid. If it is valid, we then want to get our attributes or get weapon. Oh, I've never added anything in here. Get weapon damage. And we'll split this open. So let's set our texts that we have in our designer here, all of these guys. So in here then, we'll do, let's start with our melee attack. So we'll do melee damage and do set text. If it's valid, like so, plug this value into here and it should convert it for you. Next, we'll do our ranged damage. So ranged damage here, set text. like so. This could be here too, and drag this in there. Okay. And at the very end, we'll do that bonus damage. So we have melee bonus and we have ranged bonus. So we'll just copy that again and just organize it a little bit here. And for that bonus damage, what we'll do is from this component, we made that variable earlier, we'll do get bonus damage. And this simply will go here, converting it for you, and once again here. And let's drag it there. So that's our set weapon damage function. Let's compile and save. Next, we want to go ahead and create another function, and this one we want to call set armor class. The same thing, we'll get our hero, and we'll do get component by class, plug it in, PPC wardrobe is valid. And then what we want to do is we'll grab our get armor class, and then this value will be set to our armor class, which we have txt underscore AC value. And we'll do set text. Okay, now this might be a little bit confusing because there's a lot going on. So I hope you guys can follow along. Okay, so that's the end of it. Let's then go back into our set all stats, set our weapon damage, and set our armor class. Okay, compile and save this then. Exit. So we'll set this function after the equipment has been set here. So we'll do set all stats like so. Next, if you recall, we made a event dispatcher in our calculations for the equipment. So we'll get our hero. And once again, this is just a reference to our player character. We'll do get component by class. We'll grab our component wardrobe, and we'll do a bind event on stats changed. So under changed, we want to update them once again. So in here, we'll do a custom event. Let's call it on stats changed. And once again, we'll just plug in our stats there like so. And that's what's done. So let's compile and save and see this in action. So let's go and play the game. I run here, it says 0, 0. And if we were to, let's say, put on some pants, so click here, these should change, but they're not changing. So let me see where I went wrong. So once again, I found the issue. I never actually called the calculate stats function. At the very end of our equip item, this would be a very good place to put this here. So we'll do calculate stats at the very end, compile and save that. And now everything should work. Now there's still a few minor tweaks I realized should be done. So as you can see, this changes. So instead of just setting that text, we can format it. So let's head back into our character sheet. Or is it the wardrobe, I believe? Yeah, it's the character sheet. So set attributes. Instead of just plugging this like we did, we can do a format text instead. And let's do defense, double colon, we'll do curly brackets, X curly brackets. This value will go here. And we'll do the same like that over here. So instead of defense, we'll say strength. And let's plug this into here. Compile and save. And that way, you know which stat is which. So defense, if we were to apply a armor, there we go, defense 10. And let's say some item that gives us strength, so like a sword, strength 4. And if we went a step further to equip a shirt, strength 13, and we get that AC modifier. One more thing before we finish up the video. In our calculate stats function in the wardrobe component, we want to clear the attributes and the weapon damage. So don't do a get, do a set. If you don't do this, your stats will just continue stacking And I noticed this at the very end there. So let's compile and save that. And this should work. In the next video, we'll be covering the item prompt. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. And as always, happy developing.